See your age mates, female like you. They help their mothers. Some are buying clothes for their mothers, setting up shops, even without a good-paying job yet. But you're here busy dating one poor, wretched boy that doesn't have anything. What can he help you with, Victoria? Tell me, even your pad can he buy? Victoria, a 22-year-old graduate, stood by the kitchen counter, slicing onions with shaky hands. She sighed and looked away. Mummy, she tried to respond, but her voice barely came out. Don't mummy me, her mother snapped. I didn't send you to university to come back with a boyfriend that will be a burden to you. Or to me, her mom cried. This wasn't the first time the conversation came up. Her mother had met Tund once, Victoria's boyfriend of almost a year. No job, still hustling. But he was kind, supportive, and had stood by Victoria when her final year almost broke her spirit. Mummy, Tund may not have it now, but he has plans. He's working on a startup idea. That startup? Her mother scoffed, finally turning to look her daughter in the eye. When hunger knocks, will startup answer the door? Victoria blinked fast, fighting the tears that weren't just from the onions anymore. You need to face reality, Victoria. That boy is not your future. He's not ready. And you, she paused deliberately, you are too valuable to waste on someone who can't even help himself. That night, Victoria sat silently on her bed, her mother's words replaying in her mind like an unwanted chorus. See your age mates. Even without a good job, they find ways to support their mother. But you are here dating a poor, wretched boy. Her phone buzzed. It was Tund. Hope you're okay, my sunshine. Don't let the world dim your light. A tear rolled down her cheek. She loved him, but maybe love wasn't enough. Not in this kind of world. By morning, she had made up her mind. She told Tund they needed space. Is this what you want, or what your mom wants? He asked quietly. She didn't answer. Sometimes, silence is the loudest reply. Over the next few weeks, Victoria printed over 30 copies of her CV. She had ironed her only decent blazer. So many times the color had begun to fade. Still, she showed up. Early. Hopeful. One Tuesday morning, she arrived at an office building in Acadia. The sign outside read, Prestige Concepts Ltd. She joined a short queue in the waiting room. When it was her turn, the receptionist with bright red lipstick smiled and directed her upstairs. Inside the office, the air smelled like expensive cologne and old leather chairs. A bald man with thick glasses looked up as she entered. Victoria, he read from her CV, University of Lagos, second class upper. That's impressive. Thank you, sir. But the longer he looked at her, the clearer his intentions became. His eyes lingered too long. She shifted uncomfortably. You see, we don't just hire anyone here, he began. We need people who understand how things work. I'm willing to learn, sir. He chuckled. Learning is good, but loyalty is better. Then came the line she had already heard too many times. If you really want this job, you'll have to show me how far you can go to secure it. You understand? Her stomach twisted, but her voice was steady. I'm not that type, sir. You're beautiful, Victoria. Smart. But out there, nobody gives you anything for free. Especially not in Lagos. I'll find somewhere else, she said, standing up. Think well, he called after her. There are many girls like you out there, willing to do anything. She left without looking back. Outside, she sat on the pavement, her mind blank. Her phone buzzed. It was Tund. How did it go? She typed, same old story. Another man who wants something else before offering me work. He replied almost instantly, I'm proud of you for not giving in. Don't let them change you. She sighed deeply. 6 interviews that month. For had ended just like this one, with someone demanding her dignity as a down payment. That night, When she got home, her mother asked, "Any good news?" Victoria smiled faintly. "Not yet, Mama, but I'll keep trying." Another day, Victoria had just returned from yet another unsuccessful job hunt. She dropped her dusty handbag beside the couch and collapsed into it like a tired bird returning to an empty nest. Her mother was in the kitchen, humming one of her old gospel tunes as she stirred a pot of egusi. The aroma filled the house, but even that couldn't lift the weight Victoria felt in her chest. Her phone buzzed beside her. Stunned, a small smile crept across her face. She picked it up. "Hey, stranger," she said softly, her voice instantly lighter. "I've been waiting to hear your voice all day," he replied. "How did the interviews go?" She sighed. "Same old story. Empty promises. One guy asked if I could keep him company during weekend meetings." "God," Tun muttered. "I'm so sorry, Vic. You deserve better than all this." His voice was like balm to her tired soul. Calm, gentle, familiar. "Thanks, babe. Honestly, I just wish I could breathe. You're the only thing that feels soft in this hard world." He chuckled. "Even when everything's tough, just know I believe in you. Always." She smiled again, curling up on the couch. "I miss you. I miss you more. Let's plan to see this week, even if it's just for a walk." Suddenly, a sharp voice pierced the moment. "You this girl!" Her mother's voice boomed from the kitchen doorway. "So, you're still talking to that boy? I thought I told you to leave that poor thing." Her heart dropped. "Mummy, please. I'm on a call," she whispered, trying to keep her voice steady. "Can't you see what your mates are doing for their mothers? Some are opening shops for them, buying wrappers, paying rent. Even if not with their money, at least their boyfriend's own. What does this one have to offer?" Tun was still on the line. She quickly pressed the speaker off and held the phone to her chest. "Every day it's the same thing with you, writing one application after another and falling foolishly in love with a very broke boy. Is that your full-time job now? Applications and romance?" "Mummy, that's not fair," she said, standing up. "You know I'm trying. I've been out every day searching. And Tund, he's not useless. He's just trying too." "Trying doesn't feed anyone," her mother shouted. "Open your eyes, Victoria. You're supposed to help me now, not the other way around. Or do you think I'll carry this family forever?" Her words hit Victoria hard, too hard. She stood there, holding back tears, phone still clutched to her chest. When she finally looked at her mother, she said quietly, "Just because he's broke now doesn't mean he'll always be. And just because I'm struggling now doesn't mean I won't rise." Her mother scoffed and turned back to the kitchen, mumbling, "It is love that will kill you, Victoria." As she disappeared, Victoria pressed the phone back to her ear. "Tund, you still there?" "I heard everything," he replied, his voice low. "I'm sorry." "Don't be," he said. "One day, I'll prove her wrong." And deep down, she hoped he would. Something happened the day when Victoria stepped out in her neatly ironed shirt and borrowed black skirt. She had circled this interview date on her calendar in red ink, July 10th, 9 a.m., Vantech Group, Victoria Island. It was supposed to be a fresh start. She boarded a bus heading towards CMS and alighted 2 stops early to walk the rest of the way. She needed to gather her thoughts. Her nerves were dancing, but she kept whispering to herself, "You got this, Victoria." Just as she crossed the traffic light, a car slowed down beside her. A sleek black Range Rover with tinted windows that hummed class and money. The passenger window rolled down. "Hey there," a deep voice called. She turned slightly, unsure if he was talking to her. "You?" "Yes," the voice repeated, followed by a charming smile. Victoria paused, still walking. "Good morning," she replied. The man parked properly by the roadside and stepped out. Tall, clean-shaven, maybe 26. Everything about him screamed confidence. His shoes looked like they cost more than her entire wardrobe. "My name's Daniel," he said, extending a hand. "I just saw you walking and I had to stop. You caught my attention. I'm LP. Victoria raised an eyebrow. "Okay." He laughed lightly. "Don't worry, I'm not trying to bother you. I just thought, maybe we could talk. You heading somewhere important?" "I'm going for an interview," she said, glancing at her watch. "Oh, then I won't waste your time," he replied. "It's just, you have his presence. Classy. Natural. I admire that." "Thanks," she said, her tone cautious. Compliments were cheap in Lagos. "Do you mind giving me your number? I'd love to get to know you when you're less busy." There was a pause. Something in her hesitated. He seemed genuine, but she had learned not to be fooled by polished shoes and fine words. She studied him closely. His wristwatch glittered, and the scent of his cologne lingered in the air. Still, she took a deep breath, recited her number, and watched as he typed it into his phone. "I'll call later. Maybe lunch after your interview." "Let's see how the day goes," she said, taking a step back. "But don't expect too much. I'm not easily swayed." He smiled again. "Fair enough, but I like a woman with standards." She nodded, then turned and continued walking. Her heart beat faster, not because she was excited, but because she knew how dangerous charm and money could be. She wasn't about to trade her dignity for compliments wrapped in designer suits. When she got to the company gate, she whispered a short prayer under her breath. "God, if this is another test, give me strength to pass it." Daniel might have been handsome and rich, but she wasn't looking to be rescued. She was looking to stand on her own. Daniel called the night after the interview. Victoria was lying in bed, half asleep, when his name flashed on her screen. "Hi, Victoria." His smooth voice filled her ear. "Did the interview go well?" "Daniel." "I think so," she replied, yawning lightly. "They said they'd get back to me." "That's great. I knew you'd do well," he said with a soft laugh. "How about we celebrate with coffee tomorrow? Nothing fancy. Just time to talk." She hesitated. "I don't really go out with people I just met." "Well, now we've spoken twice," he said playfully. She found herself smiling. The next day, she agreed to meet him. It was just coffee after all. He took her to a quiet cafe tucked away in Lekki. Not flashy, not loud, just calm like him. Daniel wasn't like the other men she had met. He didn't try too hard. He listened. He asked questions about her dreams, not just her dress size. He spoke gently, but there was confidence in his tone, like someone who had seen life from both ends. "So, what do you really want to do?" he asked, stirring his cappuccino. "I want to work, stand on my feet, maybe one day start something for young girls, like a mentorship program," she replied. He leaned in. "That's rare. Most people just want to survive." She blushed slightly, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. "I've done enough surviving." He nodded in silence, just looking at her. When she got home, she didn't tell her mom where she had gone. She just smiled quietly to herself. That evening, Tun called. "Hey babe," he said. "You free to talk?" She stared at the screen before answering. Her voice was flat. "Yeah, I'm here." "I've been working on that proposal I told you about," he said excitedly. "The one for the app idea. I'm thinking if I can just pitch it to the right investor." "Tund," she cut in. "Can we talk about something else? My head's spinning." He went quiet for a second. "Are you okay?" "I'm just tired," she replied, forcing a sigh. "Let's talk later." He paused again. "Victoria, is everything all right between us?" She didn't answer immediately. "Of course," she said at last. "I'm just under pressure." They ended the call. She didn't even say, "I love you." Over the next few days, Daniel kept showing up, texting her in the morning, calling at night, sending silly memes when he noticed she hadn't replied. She told herself he was just being nice, supportive, but deep down, she could feel something shifting. She remembers how Mom scolds her. See your age mates. Female like you, they help their mothers. Some are buying clothes for their mothers, setting up shops, even without a good-paying job yet. But you're here busy dating one poor, wretched boy that doesn't have anything. What can he help you with, Victoria? Tell me, even your pad, can he buy? The kind of money her mom always mentioned, Daniel has it. He didn't drive an average car, he drove expensive car, he wore expensive clothes, and never mentioned what he did for a living. He made her feel seen, special, unburdened. And slowly, without warning, Victoria realized she wasn't checking her phone for Tun's texts anymore. The first time, Daniel gave her a purse. Sleek, elegant, something she would never buy for herself. I saw this and thought of you, he had said casually. Hope you like it. She had protested at first, half-heartedly. Daniel, you didn't have to. But I wanted to, he replied, smiling. It suits your energy, classy but quiet. She laughed, brushing it off. Just a gift. Then there were the lunches. He'd send a dispatch rider with neatly packed meals while she was job hunting. So you don't go hungry, he'd text. Another day, a courier brought a soft box. Inside was a wristwatch. Not flashy. Simple, clean, and beautifully made. She didn't know how to say no anymore. I feel weird accepting all these, she told him once, sitting across from him at a rooftop cafe. Why? He asked, sipping his drink. You're not asking me for anything. I'm just doing what a man should do, take care of someone he cares about. She looked at him, unsure how to respond. Meanwhile, Tun kept calling, kept texting, kept hoping. One evening, while she sat in her room, her phone buzzed. Tun. She picked up, a bit reluctantly. Hey babe, he said. I was thinking, maybe we could hang out this weekend. I found a small place near Yaba where we can just talk, relax. She hesitated. This weekend might be tight. I have things to do. Oh, he said, disappointment heavy in his tone. You've been busy a lot lately. I'm just overwhelmed, she replied quickly. Job stuff, family pressure. You know how things are. He went quiet. You're not pulling away from me, are you? Her throat tightened. Tun, please, don't start. I'm not starting, he said. I'm just trying to hold on to what we have. What we had. Those words echoed in her mind, because something had changed. With Daniel, she didn't have to explain her pain. He just noticed and handled it. Quietly. No stress. No complaints. He had never told her how much he earned or what exactly he did. But the signs were there. He was far from average. Tun was still fighting for her with effort. One night, she lay in bed staring at 2 texts on her screen. Tun, I miss the way you used to talk to me. Daniel, you deserve some baby girl's treatments. Let me give them to you. She stared at the glowing screen for minutes and replied to only one. Daniel's own. Tun noticed the changes. He didn't say it outright, but it was written all over his face the moment he saw her that evening at the suya joint near Yaba. Victoria wore a new bodycon gown, one Daniel had given her, paired with imported sandals. Her hair was styled differently, nails freshly done, and she carried herself with a quiet, unfamiliar confidence. You're glowing, Tun said, his voice careful, eyes scanning her. Victoria offered a soft smile, but no explanation. You haven't gotten a job yet, have you? He asked, his voice quieter now. She shook her head. Not officially, but I'm figuring things out. Tun didn't push further, but the look in his eyes said enough. Confusion, concern, a little hurt, The girl who used to call for 500 Nigerian nairas to get home was now carrying gold-trimmed phone cases and the scent of foreign perfume. Back at home, her transformation stirred subtle unrest. Her mother had stopped asking questions the day Victoria handed her a new wrapper and a pair of strong, beautiful slippers. She had unwrapped them slowly, brows slightly furrowed, but said little. They were things she had silently longed for. Her silence had a price, one paid in gifts she couldn't afford to refuse. Clubbing wasn't something Victoria had imagined for herself. But Daniel introduced it gradually, first a dinner, then a lounge, until one night they ended up in a high-end club on the island. He walked in with her on his arm, confidently. Bottles appeared like water. Everyone seemed to know his name. Victoria sipped wine she couldn't pronounce and laughed at jokes that didn't land, yet something inside her shifted. She felt a power she'd never known before. Men looked at her with admiration. Women stared with envy. She was no longer the broke girl on public buses. That week, she slept over at Daniel's hotel room 3 times. By the 3rd night, she didn't even bother to text her mother. It had started to feel normal. But late at night, while staring at the ceiling of Daniel's spacious hotel room, thoughts of Tund returned. Of the boy who once gave her flat shoes with money he barely had. The one who believed in her dreams. Now, she had everything she once wanted. Clothes, money, comfort. But in the silence, it was clear. She was slowly becoming a stranger to herself. And the girl who once feared getting lost was already halfway gone. The next day, it was almost midnight when Victoria crept into the house, her heels in her hands and the scent of expensive perfume still clinging to her skin. Her mother was already waiting in the sitting room, arms folded, scarf slightly loose on her head, eyes red from sleep and worry. "Where are you coming from again? Why not always update me every time you ain't coming back home?" she asked without shouting. Her tone was quiet, too quiet. Victoria sighed and sat down, not meeting her eyes. "Mama, there's something I want to tell you." Her mother leaned forward. "I'm listening." "There's someone," she began softly. "His name is Daniel. He's different." Her mother didn't blink. "Different how?" "He's kind. He listens to me. He makes me feel safe. Mama, he gives me things. Not just money, good money." Her mother squinted. "Is he rich?" Victoria hesitated. "For real he is." A smile broke through the woman's face. Not wide, but deep. "You found a helper," she said. "A man who sees your value. But you see what I've been saying. When God wants to bless someone, he removes the weights from their neck." Tund was a weight. Victoria looked down at her feet. She wasn't sure if this was what blessings were supposed to feel like. 2 weeks later, Daniel came visiting for the first time. He wore a crisp white shirt, his scent filling the air like confidence. Victoria had warned him her mother could be direct. But he only smiled and said, "Let her speak her truth." When he knocked, her mother opened the door, and for a few seconds, said nothing. Just stared at him the same way she stared at unfamiliar neighbors who greeted her too warmly. "Good evening, Ma," Daniel said, stretching out a paper bag. "It's a pleasure to finally meet you." She took it, eyes still measuring him. "Come inside." Victoria sat between them, trying to mask her nerves. After some small talk, Daniel leaned forward. "Ma, Victoria told me you've always dreamed of starting a food business." Her mother blinked. "She told you that?" "Yes, and I want to help you set it up. I've already spoken to someone who can lease a space near the market." There was a long silence. Her mother placed her hand over her chest and turned to Victoria with glistening eyes. "My daughter," she whispered, This is what I prayed for." Victoria gave a nervous smile. "You see why I told you to leave that poor boy." Her mother continued, more boldly now. "This is what I wanted for you. For us. You don't even need that job again. Look at what God has done. We're doing better now. She turned to Daniel. God will bless you, my son. You've wiped tears from my eyes. Victoria stared at her mother, suddenly unsure if she should smile or feel swallowed by guilt. The joy in the room felt too heavy, like something was being paid for, but no one knew the real cost yet. At first, it was just small things, a pair of shoes here, a surprise food delivery there. But within a few weeks, Daniel's generosity took a sharp turn. One morning, Victoria woke up to find a brand new iPhone placed gently beside her pillow. The screen was still sealed, the box untouched. She blinked twice. "Daniel," she whispered, sitting up. "What's all this?" He stepped out of the bathroom, already dressed in a designer shirt she hadn't seen before. "Good morning, baby. You like it?" Victoria smiled, but her fingers barely touched the phone. "You bought me an iPhone." He laughed, pulling her in for a kiss on the forehead. "You deserve more than this, babe. You've been managing that your old phone for too long." That week, the gifts didn't stop. He took her shopping, bought her 3 new dresses, 2 pairs of heels, and even paid for her hair to be done at one of the most expensive salons in town. By the weekend, they were dining at a restaurant Victoria had only ever seen on Instagram. A place where even the cheapest dish could make your account shiver. She sat across from him, watching as the waiter poured red wine into delicate glasses. Victoria's mind wasn't together. She leaned forward. "Daniel!" He looked up. She hesitated. This past week, everything has been different. The gifts, this restaurant, the phone. It's all a lot. He smirked. A lot, right? She smiled faintly. "Yes, but are you sure your business is okay? I mean, you weren't doing all this before." "Wow. So now you don't trust me?" "I didn't say that," Victoria replied quickly. "I'm just surprised. That's all. I know you're worried, but babe, trust me. Everything I'm doing is legit. I've just been putting in extra work lately. Things are finally moving." She nodded slowly, letting his words wash over her. She wanted to believe him. After all, Daniel had always made her feel special, and maybe this was just his way of showing appreciation. Still, a tiny knot formed in her stomach as she looked around the luxurious restaurant. Everything felt too sudden, too perfect. Victoria had been dating Daniel for months, but something continued to bother her. She had never seen where he lived. Each time she brought it up, he changed the subject, kissed her forehead, or cracked a joke. But today, she asked again, her tone firmer. "Daniel, I really want to see your place. I mean, I've shown you mine," she said, her eyes searching his face as they sat in the hotel room. Daniel sighed and stood, pacing slightly. "Babe, I told you. My apartment is still under renovation." She raised an eyebrow. "Still, it's been months." He turned to her, smiling as he cupped her face. I know. The carpenter's messing things up. I don't want you stepping into that kind of mess. Dust everywhere, broken tiles. You won't be comfortable." Victoria looked away. "But hotels every time? It's starting to feel strange." He pulled her closer. "Just give me a little more time, okay? Soon as the place is set, you'll be the first to sleep in my bed." She forced a smile, but deep down, unease lingered. Something about Daniel's answers never felt complete. Something wasn't adding up. Victoria excused herself from Daniel's presence and stepped into the bathroom of the hotel suite. She needed a moment, not just to freshen up, but to think. Something about Daniel had been feeling off lately. As she returned, her footsteps quiet, she paused just before the door fully opened. Daniel was on the phone, speaking in hushed, deliberate tones. "Just wait. He hasn't clicked yet." "Yeah, once he confirms, tell him the money dropped. No mistakes this time." Victoria's brows furrowed. The tone, the words, the way he kept glancing over his shoulder. She pushed the door open. Daniel jumped slightly and ended the call. "Babe, you're done," he said with a forced smile, pocketing his phone quickly. "Who were you talking to?" she asked, eyes narrowing. "Oh, nothing serious. Just some crypto stuff," he replied casually, walking over to kiss her forehead. "You know me, always grinding." She didn't reply immediately, just watched him. He grinned wider, like charm would erase her curiosity. "You're always so secretive lately," she muttered. Daniel chuckled. "Because I'm planning surprises for you. Relax, baby." She smiled faintly, but deep down, something didn't feel right anymore. "Let's go away for the weekend," Daniel said, brushing Victoria's hair from her face. "Just me and you. Somewhere quiet. Somewhere special." Victoria's eyes lit up. "Really?" Daniel smiled. "You deserve it. I booked us a private place. No distractions." Her heart fluttered. She had never felt this kind of attention before. A weekend getaway with a man who spoiled her like a queen? She couldn't say no. But when her mom asked where she was going, Victoria kept the details vague. "I'm just going to relax with Daniel," she said casually, zipping up her weekend bag. Her mother raised a brow. "Where exactly?" "Just somewhere not far." "I'll be fine," Victoria said, avoiding eye contact. "Please be careful," her mother muttered, unease settling in her chest. By evening, Victoria's phone rang once, then went off. At first, her mother tried to stay calm. "Maybe they're in a place with no signal," she told herself. She waited. An hour passed, then 2, then 5. She dialed again. Switched off. The next morning, there was still no word from Victoria. Her WhatsApp last seen was the previous night. Her status hadn't changed. No calls. No texts. Her phone was dead. Panic hit. She ran outside barefoot, asking neighbors, "Have you seen Victoria? Did she say where she was going?" No one knew. "She said she was going with that man," one old neighbor offered. "What man?" "That Daniel." "Where? Where did they go?" Her voice cracked. No one had answers. Her hands trembled as she fell to her knees in the middle of the compound. "Oh my God, what have I done?" A crowd gathered. Whispers filled the air. Victoria's mother clutched her wrapper tightly, her voice hoarse from crying. "Why did I let her go? Why did I let myself believe money was everything? What have I gotten myself into?" She stood, eyes wild. "Where do I go from here? Who do I call? Police? Friends? Church?" She rushed inside to search for any trace, maybe a number, maybe a clue, anything that would tell her where her daughter had gone. But Victoria had left nothing behind. No address. No hotel name. Not even a goodbye. As the sun dipped and night approached, Victoria's mother sat on the floor by her door, staring at the gate, hoping, praying, that her daughter would walk in and say, "Mom, I'm back." But the silence only deepened, and the fear grew stronger. Victoria's mother reached the old house at the edge of the village. She clutched her wrapper tightly, sweat dripping from her brow. Her eyes were swollen from days of tears, and her voice trembled with desperation. She knocked twice. A few moments later, the village secretary, an elderly man known simply as Papa Oak, opened the door. His face wrinkled with wisdom and worry. "Ah, Mama Victoria," he said gently. "You look disturbed. What brings you here?" She fell to her knees immediately. "Papa, please. I came to beg you. I don't know where else to go." He quickly helped her up. "Come inside, my daughter. Talk to me." Inside the cool, dim room, she sat on a wooden chair, hands trembling. "My daughter, Victoria," she began, voice barely a whisper. "She left home 2 weeks ago. She said she was going away for the weekend with her boyfriend. Since then, I've not heard a word. Her phone is off. No messages. Nothing. Papa Oak leaned forward. 2 weeks, you say? She nodded quickly. Yes, Papa. 2 weeks. My heart is bleeding. I don't sleep at night anymore. I don't eat. I just wait, but nothing. Did you know this boy? He asked carefully. Not well, she admitted. He came once. Just once. But that day, I remember the car he drove. New model. I didn't even check the plate number. I was just happy my daughter had found someone rich. I encouraged her, Papa. Tears rolled down her cheeks. I was greedy. She hadn't even gotten a job yet, but I kept expecting her to bring goodies whenever she went out. I thought she had finally found her breakthrough. Oh, Papa, I failed her. Please, help me find my daughter. Papa Oak sighed deeply, tapping the table slowly with his fingers. Now is not the time for blame. We must act. There's no time. He stood up, grabbed his small notebook, and started writing. Let's begin with what you remember. The car. The date she left. Any name he might have mentioned to her. Did she call him Daniel? Yes, she nodded quickly. Daniel. That's what she always called him. Papa Oak tore out a page and tucked it into his shirt pocket. I'm going to the police station, he said firmly. We need to file a report and give them what little information we have. The car, the name, everything. The village secretary sat back after the report was written, his face unreadable. Madam, he said quietly, I will do my best, but something is not adding up. You said he drives a black SUV with tinted windows. She nodded quickly. Yes, Papa. That's the only thing I know. A black Jeep, tinted glasses, Legos plate number. He came with it the first day to greet me. The secretary sighed deeply. There have been other reports. Young girls vanishing after leaving with men in such vehicles. Nobody talks about it openly, but I have heard whispers. Her heart skipped. Whispers of what, Papa? Please, don't hide anything from me. He leaned closer. Some say these men are not just rich. They use girls for rituals. Their money smells of blood. She staggered back, her chest heaving. Blood! Woman, lower your voice, the old man warned. We cannot conclude yet, but the police will dig deeper. As they rose to leave, a strange chill ran through her spine. That night, she couldn't sleep. She lay on her bed, staring at the ceiling. Sleep refused her. Her thoughts dragged her back to Daniel, his cold, calm eyes, the faint smirk that made her blood run cold. Every move he made seemed planned, like he was always a step ahead. Fear twisted in her chest. She felt small, powerless, and certain that he could destroy everything she cared about in a single moment. The next morning, she received a call from an unknown number. Hello, her shaky voice answered. A man's whisper crackled through the line. If you love your daughter, stop digging. Forget everything. The line went dead. She froze, phone slipping from her hand. The room spun. Was Victoria alive somewhere? Was this a threat or a clue? And in that moment, she realized the story was not ending. It was just beginning.